Welcome to Cork in the North. Before we begin this week's episode, I just want to let you know I'm out on tour in November. I'm performing in Cork, Dublin, Newry, Dundalk, Belfast, 2 in London, and Basingstoke, Manchester, Oldham, and I'm adding dates to Liverpool and Scotland as well. So please go onto my website, andrewryancomedy.com. If you like this podcast, you like me, you want to come and see me do stand-up, please do buy a ticket. You can also watch my stand-up on YouTube with some clips and stuff like that. If you go, oh, I quite like this guy's style, this guy's okay, I might go and see him. So please do buy a ticket. Some of the shows are selling really well at the moment, and I would love to sell out as many venues as I possibly can. And if you're around and you want to come, please do bring a friend, bring a family, bring a load of people, bring everybody. It would be great. Anyway, enjoy this week's episode.
You want to see Sean? We did a common market gig. There's about 10 of us. It was like a Mariah Carey thing. It was like 2 weeks ago. Fuck me, I've never seen someone kill more in my life.
Yeah, he was brilliant at Lavery's last Tuesday, last Wednesday.
Oh wow, you were on, and then you're on him on Thursday too in Brickwork.
I'm on him tomorrow as well.
Tomorrow? Is that tomorrow? No, Thursday.
Thursday, yeah.
Like after that, everyone was like at a couple of gigs after that, but everyone was like, "What about Sean?"
But he was on the Wednesday at Lavery's, he was phenomenal.
So were you? I heard you did great as well.
That's just me, Diona.
Yeah, that's what I expected. Lavery's is great.
But you know what? Everybody was. It was the last 2 shows. You did the Wednesday, but it was the Thursday. But it was the last 2 shows before he kind of has a summer break while they reconstruct it. And everybody was killing.
When I get down on Thursday, Colin was all to me last night. It was like an unbelievable night in this club. Every single act killed it.
So I'm a stickler. I don't like hanging around because I get quite twitchy, right? So like whenever I do the Empire, I'll go in. I'll be in 8:45. Yeah. 20 to 9. I don't like getting in early because I get a bit twitchy. But I got down early, and I was like, oh, this is a vibe. This is every comedian was killing. Yeah. So I had like, I'm going to do a new joke here, new joke here, new joke here, new joke here. I said, no fucking chance.
No, you don't want to chance it.
It's like, no. I'm going out now and I'm bringing A and B plus material.
Yeah, but it's such an establishment now. Like, Colin's been building that for over a decade, like longer than that. And it's like got to the stage now where it's got such a loyal audience, a loyal following, and people who really enjoy comedy. Yeah. Not just people who've like come into Belfast for a week and they're like, we'll go see some comedy. Like it's got a loyal audience.
The beauty about comedy in Belfast, I think, is there's no weekend comedy.
Yeah, exactly.
Because weekend comedy might be people coming to Belfast for a weekend.
Tourists, yeah.
Whereas if you want to see comedy and you're a real comedy fan, you have to really make an effort. Well, we've actually started as well.
Oh, right, sorry. Is that right for you here? Yeah, go ahead.
Is that Tuesday, Wednesday, the Empire has a really loyal following. Lavery's have a really loyal following. Yeah. And you think to yourself, that's great for everybody. Yeah. But you have to really make an effort to go to comedy on a Tuesday, Wednesday and a Thursday night.
Yeah, exactly.
So there are people who really are interested.
Or a Sunday, if there was a Sunday. There's no Sunday here yet, but yeah, I know what you mean.
So there's the Sundays new material at Sunflower, and Monday there's 1 or 2 open mics.
Where's the PAV?
The PAV, and then you have a couple of monthly gigs.
Yes.
But I think that's why it's so vibrant here, is because people are really into it. But when I did that Lavery show last Wednesday, I walked in and I was like, oh, I've done gigs in London and stuff like that, and you kind of feel like, oh, you're watching something really cool here. And I've had nights like that in the Empire where everybody's just killed. Yeah. And you kind of, but that Lavery's night, I was sitting backstage going, oh, like Rory Woods was phenomenal. Yeah. Sean was great. And I was just like, everybody is just on, there's a point coming.
And do you know what I think's exciting too? Is all the comedians at the minute on the circuit are all quite different from each other. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because you're saying about Rory Woods there. He's got such a different style from, say, William Thompson, who has such a different style from Paddy, from Sean's completely different to everybody. You know, I think everyone is quite different. You're different. So you're not, if you could go to a night and watch 5 or 6 comedians in a row and not feel like same
thing twice. Whereas I was in New York 2 weeks ago.
How was it?
And I went to gigs over there. And a lot of it was the same.
People mimicking each other.
Do you know what it was? Like, don't get me wrong.
I have just a notification on my watch saying Andrew Ryan's podcast. So if you ask me, we started early.
That's fine. No, it's fine. But I went. Have you been to America? Yeah. Right, you've been to New York?
Yeah.
What did you think of it?
Loved it.
You love it, like?
The first time I went, I was working. I did a play.
Okay.
So I was working.
So did you get a visa for like 12 months or something?
I didn't know. I didn't sort the visa. The production company sorted it, so I didn't know how. We were only there for a few weeks.
Right.
Not even. It was a Irish theatre festival, so I was there for a short time doing this play. So I did have a working visa, yeah. And the second time I went was the first leg of my honeymoon.
Oh, wow. And so you and Sean went, and where did you stay?
Times Square.
We walked to Times Square. We stayed in Midtown. We stayed on 39th Street.
Right.
And we walked up to Times Square. We turned round and left.
It's wild.
It was too busy.
No, it is obviously very busy. I think if you're going there and you're doing the touristy thing.
And I hate people.
No, is that the first time you were in New York?
First time ever travelling west of Ireland. Oh. I have never. It's like this, right? I have no idea. In all my life, I have never gone on a plane and gone left.
So what is all over here?
America, Canada, South America.
So what's all over here? Europe. So right. I don't
Diona.
know. No, listen, I don't know anything about geography.
You have a child and you don't know what's left or right.
Fuck, I'm not teaching her where things
are.
So
there's England over there. Have you been to England?
Are they? I'm joking.
So I know. But went over, oh my God, it couldn't have gone any smoother, the whole trip.
Right.
Because I get really anxious about the airport. Dublin Airport, chaos in Dublin Airport.
Yeah.
My flight was, say, 11 o'clock. I was like, right, we're on the road at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
You know, we got in, no problems.
So what's everyone talking about?
Oh, I think it's the weekends is the issue, you know,
so
when people are going away.
That's the
We went on a Monday
here.
And, you know, like the long stay parking in Dublin is in County Meath. It's that far away. And then you have to go. It's so far away from the airport. No. I felt like it was in the other side. I felt like it was in the Midlands. Like to travel back in by bus.
Oh, fuck.
And then if you ever fly Ryanair from Dublin Airport, the Ryanair terminal, have you flown Ryanair from Dublin? That's in another county from the airport because that's so far away. So anyway, we fly over. The plane was great.
Like, do you know with your mum when you're growing up and she's like packing 1,000 sandwiches and you get to the airport and you're there 10 hours before and you've eaten all your food and you're still sitting there for another 6 hours and your ma brings out Jenga and you're like, what else have you brought?
Yeah.
My ma one time packed for me when I went on my first holiday with my friends, she packed an entire beach bag, like a big bright luminous beach bag for me to bring as my hold on, and it was full of meat. It was sausages, bacon, pudding. And I was like, they have food in Gran Canaria? And she was like, no.
They have food in Gran Canaria.
She was like, they don't have Doherty's sausages. And I was like, but I think I can survive for 2 weeks without Doherty's sausages. She was like, no. And see, I'll tell you what, me and my mates were never as glad for that bag of meat because I used to make fry-ups every morning for us. And my apartment was where it was at. Yeah,
there's nothing better than when you go on holiday like a Gran Canaria or Tenerife and you find the shop and you walk in. It's like, and you're like, Clonakilty black pudding? Clonakilty black pudding? Or you go to an Irish pub and you walk in, you go, what sausages are there? And they're like, Dennehy.
Don't
worry, lads, we got you covered. You know?
It's like, is this the Peter Kay Cadbury's Fingeries thing, isn't it?
Cadbury's Fingeries, it tastes exactly the same.
Yeah, it's that.
So we arrived at the airport. Let's talk about a little touch here, right? So we arrived at the airport, we do the bag drop. I have military precision because we have to have visas. Now, bear in mind, when you go to America, you have to be vaccinated. Plus, you also had to do a PCR 24 hours beforehand. Oh. But they dropped that 2 weeks before we went.
Loving it.
Result.
But you had to pay for a PCR now, don't you?
It's like 30 quid, I think.
No, I had to pay a couple £100 for one before. Oh, they've dropped. That's it. It's the supply and demand. When I was getting it, everyone was getting it, and it was dear.
Randox, about 30 quid. Belfast Airport have to have a cabin. Talk about making redundant. As soon as any government announce you don't need PCR, you just see people in Randox at Belfast City Airport going, well, I'm on the dole now again.
Yeah.
Because they've no
no
jobs.
job.
So anyway, we arrive, we get through security, we do all that. Then I go to American immigration, and my sister said to me, she goes, don't be fucking giving them cheeky answers now with American immigration thing. You're having a bit of a laugh.
You can't.
Right, because
they're not up for laughing.
I'd never done it. Anyway, I arrive up at American immigration and the guy's like, takes the passport, goes, purposes you visit. And I went, my birthday. And he looked at me and he goes, your birthday was in March. This was June.
Why were you trying to be a funny fucker?
I wasn't. It was genuinely my birthday trip though.
Oh, right.
And I goes, my birthday. He goes, oh yes. He goes, oh, your birthday was in March. I goes, oh yeah. It's just like we could only go now. He goes, excellent. You looking forward to it? And I was like, yeah, I am. Yeah. And then he went, have you got more than $10,000 on you? And I went, no. And he went, okay. And what two are you travelling with? And I went, oh, my girlfriend over there. And he just went, cool. Have a great trip. And he does a stamp and all that. And my girlfriend's Indian.
Imagine if he'd have went, ugh.
No, but my girlfriend's Indian. My girlfriend's Indian, right? Yeah. So can you imagine before we were going to American immigration, the jokes that we were having between each other? I said, look, because she's Indian, I was like, I'm going to enjoy the holiday. You enjoy the detention centre.
Yeah. They're like, are you in the Ra or she and ISIS?
Like, basically that. Like,
which one?
The Ra and ISIS going to America. Together, right? So anyway, we got through. But I didn't notice this. On my boarding card, because pre-pandemic, I used to have silver status with Aer Lingus because I used to fly with them quite a bit.
Yeah.
And you only have to fly with them, I think, 3 times a month over 6 months. And you get basically get fast track security.
Oh!
And you get to board first.
For how long?
But every year you have to keep earning a certain number. So you might only get it for a year. But on my boarding card, I'm actually on the green tier back again because of COVID. I haven't been flying. But on my boarding card, it still said silver. Well, what a touch. We got to board early. On the way back in JFK, we were allowed into the lounge.
Oh, stop.
So I walked
What did you get in the lounge?
So we got soup.
Yummy.
Sandwiches, 3 cans of Coke. We stole a load of cream crackers, fruit.
And the thing is too, is you're going...
Muffins.
Wouldn't thank you for a cream cracker any other day of the week, but if you're giving me something for free, fill a bit.
Oh my God. Like, just sitting in the lounge, I just remember looking at Krishna and I just went, this is who I am.
Yeah. I'm at home. I know.
What a touch.
What a touch. Isn't it funny how you I got invited to a opening of it wasn't an opening, it was like a celebration of Independence Day as an American sweetie shop the other day, right?
Down Hollywood?
No,
there's a new American sweet shop. Oh.
Here, don't knock it. The gorgeous fucking shop. Packed to the rafters with sweeties. It's called Sweeties, actually, is the name of the shop. Sweeties. But anyway, so I was invited. They were like, come on down and we'll give you a box each and you can fill. And I have such a sweet tooth because growing up, my mum still is diabetic. So in our house, we never were allowed sweets because my ma has no self-restraint, so we couldn't have any in the house. Because my ma'd go for them and then she'd have to fucking double up on her insulin. That's not what you want.
No.
So we were like, not allowed sweets growing up. So when I was 18, I moved down to Belfast. My mates were like, let's get blocked. And I was like, let's get Haribo. Like, I was like, sweeties. So I love sweets, right? That's how you not to raise your children to become an absolute sweet fanatic is just don't be diabetic. But so I now if I'm like, oh my God, I'll cancel anything and go to a shop to get to supermarket sweets into this fucking box. Best ever. And then I went, but then it became like a PR thing where it was like, so the photographs taken, then it was for like the paper, and there was like this whole thing, and I was all, it's funny how if someone had said to me, will you come and like be a part of this opening for X amount of money, I probably would have highballed them because it's like not necessarily something that I would normally do. But they just offered me sweeties and it turned into a whole thing. And then I was like, oh, that's what my price is? A box of sweets?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Thanks for coming on the podcast. Here's a Twix.
Yeah. That's all you need to do is feed me sugar and I'll be like, I will do. I am your gal for anything.
What do you do? What do you like with your child having sugar?
So, before I had Winter, I was very much like, she's going to be vegan. I'm going to have she'll be having we're going to
she's going to be lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
She's going to wear shoes with no socks.
Yeah. I was like, I'm going to do all these scrummy mummy recipes. She'll be getting lentils and I'll be giving her curry from she's 6 months. I was like, I'll do all these adventurous flavours and all. That child survives on waffles and sausages. And she's obsessed with ice poles, which in the rest of the world is called ice pops, but we call them ice poles in dairy. Every 2 seconds, points at the freezer, pop, 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 pop. I'll give her what the fuck she wants, Andrew, for an easy life.
So the first couple of months of the child, you're like, it's my princess. And then after a while, you're like going, yeah, just eat the firelighters. You're fine. Just eat the firelighters.
She drops shit on the floor outside, in the ground, that's called usually, isn't it?
You got 5 second rule. Oh. But then there's the Irish 5 second rule, which is 5 days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
As long as it's,
Yeah.
But I took her to this sweetie shop thing. And I was like a pick-a-mix stand at one point that's in reach of a tiny baby can lift. She was lifting stuff and pulling sweets out and sucking them and fucking them in the ground and lifting stuff and fucking them, and the whole place was becoming sucked sticky sweets everywhere. It was and I was just like, I should care.
Yeah.
But I don't care.
Yeah.
But do what you want.
But the kids have to build up their immune system.
Yes, that's the best way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I think.
Why is your child covered in shit? It's going to protect her.
Yeah.
It's going to protect her from flus and colds.
That concept about allowing your child to build up their immune system is why I drank whilst breastfeeding. Because I was like, listen, I don't
physically
want...
at the
same time. So I don't want her getting blocked on 1-double-KD when she starts drinking. I want her to have an intolerance so she can last the night. Do I want her to be a cheap date? No.
You want her pre-drinking, drinking, after party.
I want her to last the night. I want her
hair of the dog.
Want her mates to think she's good crack. So I was like, I'll drink now to get your body used to it.
Yeah, so when she hits 12, 13, she's really on it. Like, she's going Ibiza.
Her mates are drinking alcohol pops, and she's like, guys, wise up, where's the gold slinger?
You're drinking alcohol pops, guys. Let me introduce you to heroin. My mum gave me this when I was 7 on my communion as a little gift.
Yeah, she's like, look at the immunity I have to this heroin.
Vaccines, whoa. You know, that's crazy.
Yeah. Only joking, by the way, but I definitely do drink whilst breastfeeding. But as I always say, it's like a shot in a swimming pool. Yeah. People are like, oh, you must, because I still breastfeed now. She's 15 months. People are like, oh, you mustn't be able to drink. And I'm like, yes, can. Yeah. You can.
Do you plan on, this is maybe a bit too much, do you plan on having more kids? Would you like to have more kids? Are you happy with just one?
We'd always planned on having 2.
So you have to go back to the Czech Republic again?
We'd have to fly back to the Czech Republic and all, and the queues at the airports at the minute. But if I've got...
Listen, if you've got silver status...
I'll be on that line.
I'll give you a nice touch.
Do you know what would convince me to have another child? Some free soup.
Baby or sweets, bottle of both.
Yeah,
the reason I watched this thing on Netflix, I highly recommend. It's called about a guy in America who was a doctor, and a women who couldn't get pregnant would go to him.
Yeah.
And there would be sperm donors. Yeah. And instead of using sperm donors, he used his own sperm. Did you see it?
No, but I've heard about it.
And he basically...
it's like hundreds of kids.
At the last count, I think there was 98. But watched the documentary last night on Netflix. Oh, my God.
This is so annoying because last night I was...
I think it's called Father.
Trying to find a documentary to watch on Netflix. I love
it's an hour and a half.
That's all right.
So basically, I don't want to give it away too much, but let me just put it this way. They're from a small area. So can you imagine if you were dating somebody and you didn't know that person was actually your half-sibling?
Yeah, so everyone's having to get themselves checked before
they
start
start booking. A terrible situation that happened in there where he then became the doctor of a patient and the patient was actually his daughter.
And he impregnated his daughter with his sperm?
No. He impregnated a woman. The woman had a daughter. The daughter grew up and became one of his patients.
Oh, but not one of his patients for fertility treatment?
No, but he would do women's checks and breasts and stuff like that for cancer stuff. It was disgusting. Oh,
I do need to watch that. That'll be right up my sweet.
So they got him anyway.
I'm talking about sweets.
They got him anyway. They got him anyway, and they chased him down. And apparently they tricked... The way they looked into it was he was a very religious man.
Yeah.
And he believed... The way they looked at it, there was a kind of a group where they believed that all the 98 kids that he has, they're all white. He only impregnated white women. So
he was like a white supremacist?
Yeah, I think so. And his thing, he was a bit like saying the white human race is being killed, so we need to keep producing more. So what he would do is a woman would come in who couldn't have a baby.
Yeah.
They'd be there with their husband.
Yeah.
And they would be you'd pick a sperm donor based on hair colour, etc. Yeah. He would then go, okay, get yourself ready, and you'd get changed into a gown. He would go off into the room to get the sperm, but he was going into the room to
get his own sperm.
He was
cup.
He was going at himself and then he'd come back in.
He would go in with the husbands and he'd cup and just be like,
yeah, and then then basically 5 minutes later get his own, come back.
Sean and I have had this conversation regularly where we're like, how would we know? I mean, if that didn't happen to us.
Well, it's all DNA now, and
without checking DNA.
Yeah, I'm going to do a DNA test.
I'd like to do one as well. I'd like to do a heritage thing. We find out who and where.
I just want to see if we've got any more brothers or sisters. Just for the crack.
But how would you be able to tell that from DNA?
But that's what they did.
But they would also have to have checked their DNA.
Yeah, so I think it's called 23andMe, is it? And Ancestry.com. I'll do the whole lot,
Yeah.
But my uncle has done a family tree, and I actually come from the French royal family. That's where I come from.
How far back? Do you know I'm related to Michelle Obama?
What?
No, not.
You know.
But you were very impressed.
I thought French royal family, Michelle Obama thought. This podcast
I haven't been west of Ireland.
Yeah, she doesn't even know where America is.
Also, extremely white.
Very white. Irish white.
Yeah.
But I'm French royal family.
Right.
Yeah. So from now on, courtesy when you come in. I'd like you to courtesy.
I think I have a bit of a bad knee. I think I might have on the way in anyway. I might have done that anyway.
But yeah, I highly recommend watch this thing called Family. It's scary. And so anyway, a news station took up the story, and this woman in the news station took up the story and kind of chased him down. And he was like, oh, don't make this come out because it'll ruin my marriage and all that. And they're like, you've got fucking 98 kids.
Yeah.
All living in the one area.
Going to talk about
potentially could be dating.
Yeah.
like, do you know in Iceland, the population of Iceland is only like 600,000.
Right.
When you go online to do dating apps, there's actually a cousin check on it. You actually can,
In Iceland?
Yeah, because the population is so small. You can actually do a check to make sure that you're not related.
Do you think there's areas here that would do the cousin check and be all, but she's a bit of a buck, I don't mind. Like, how stinking.
I'm not going there again.
Yeah. But like, do they be like, there probably is like, yes, that's my cousin, but like she's like an 8 out of 10, so I don't really mind.
And I don't really see her that often.
Yeah.
I don't really see her that often. But like,
we didn't even go to the same schools, which was fine.
yeah, we didn't even go to. Yeah, I hear her all right. Like, once I don't look her in the face, it makes it perfectly normal.
As long as her dad doesn't walk on my own.
Well, my mum and her mum don't talk anymore, so technically we're not cousins anyway, so it doesn't make a difference because there's a family argument, so we can do what we want.
Yeah.
No, I think
there's
a family in America called the Whittaker Family. They're all inbred. It's on YouTube.
On purpose, inbred?
Yeah, well, it's fucked up. You should watch the YouTube video of it.
So, you would think, right?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah. No, Sean and I are not related.
No. When you went to Czech Republic, how do you do it?
So, there's all different ways, I suppose, but
without going into too much detail,
you have to go under general anesthesia. So you have to do injections for ages beforehand, like for like 6 weeks or something, to create loads of eggs, and then you go under general anesthetic, and they go in via your duct and take them all out of your ovaries, all of your eggs. And then they go into the man's balls when he's on a general anesthetic with a syringe. And,
very good. Lovely.
Take out all his sperm.
Kinky.
And then it's kinky for some. I'm sure people do it for shits and giggles. And then they mix them in a dish.
Some people do it for sweets, Diona.
Yeah. I do it for a fucking wham bar.
Refresher. Give it to me.
Yeah. I'll have like 9 kids in the night. They'll be, oh, Mummy, why did you have so many? I'll be all, wham bars.
Chomps, Monster Munch, you name it.
Yeah, that's why your sister's called Skittles.
Where's Toblerone? He's out playing football. So go on anyway.
Yeah, and then they mix them in a dish and they make embryos and then they cultivate them in like an oven type thing, which I think is extremely interesting. So they're in an oven. It's the word oven, but it's not like your pizza oven. It's like whatever they're using. I'm sure it's not an oven, but they're calling it an oven.
Not an oven.
And for 5 days, it's a sped up process over those 5 days where it grows the embryo till it's 3 weeks old. So in 5 days, the embryo becomes 3 weeks old. If it was in your belly growing, it would take 3 weeks to get to the gestational age.
And then they put it back in.
Because they want it to get to 3 weeks so it's a little bit stronger so it can survive. Better chance of it surviving.
Wow.
And then they put it in at 3 weeks old. So normally a woman carries a baby for 40 weeks. If you do IVF, it goes in at 3 weeks old. So you carry it for 37.
So you haven't had a full term.
I went 2 weeks over, you cheeky cunt, so I went to 39, alright?
That's still 1 week under.
Well, most people don't go as far as 39 even.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing what they can do, isn't it?
And also, so when they're frozen, they thaw them out. Like, they literally, thaw them out.
Like, can you rent your eggs out? Like, can you say to
We don't rent, because you can't get them back.
But can you say to someone, like, do you want, I got a couple of spare eggs there now.
Absolutely.
Do you want, give me $5,000. I'll give you Sean. Do you want to look at Sean's balls? Do you like the look of his balls?
Yeah.
No? But he's a good looking guy, so why don't we, do you want a kid like him? Sean's just standing in the back going, $10 an hour. And
Sean's like, I've got so many already.
Can you imagine if there's a DNA test done in Craigavon and then it's just the TV crew just start following Sean and Sean's just like, oh, fucking back off, man.
But you want to see sperm donor sites. Like, I wonder, can I get one up now? Like, they're wild. Like, if you go on to look up sperm donors.
Can I make money from sperm donating?
Absolutely.
Hold on a second. So, I've no kids.
Yeah. You can,
I'm healthy.
It's not called sperm donating either. It's sperm donating. Like, it's the word would be donating.
But you know when people say, like, oh, do you donate to charity? I do.
Yeah, but you get paid for it.
What do you get paid?
You're one wee cup of jizz would be, not just be a full cup, but one jizz would be a couple £100, like, and you could bash a couple of them out a day. Surely, a man in his prime, you could easily.
But I think because I have dimples,
yes,
I should be charging
600.
There's potential that your child could have dimples.
Yes, but then you've also got that accent, so
no, fuck off.
It evens out.
Hold on a second. I've got no health issues apart from gluten intolerance, lack of gallbladder, the usual bits and bobs.
They'd be knocking 50 quid off for each of these.
Would they? Is there like a good... Oh, I'm left-handed, so that's a skill.
Is it, or an inconvenience?
No, left-handed is...
Up until the 1970s,
I would say to them, right, I've got dimples.
I've
got dimples. I'm slim. I have no major health issues, and also I'm Southern Irish. Therefore, I should be saying I'm a grand.
You play golf, so I think they would just cancel it altogether.
No, they wouldn't.
You're so outrageous.
That would be... No, they wouldn't, Diona. Do you know what, Diona? Can we just cut this podcast for a second? Diona, I'm a good man. I'm good man. I am good man.
Do you know what this is like? Do you know one of those please on like a... Do you like, please donate to our little blind dogs?
Yeah.
Andrew's like, please buy my sperm. I'm
For £600, you can have a child that looks like me.
You could have 100 kids because you get loads in your jizz. So like one syringe of jizz, they came into us and they were like, well, we freeze the rest of it because there's loads left. You know there's loads of sperms in one jizz.
But I will never be allowed to legally know if the child was born.
Yep. When a child's 18, it has all legal rights to find its legal
Am I legally
parents.
then have to pay the kid any money? Or do I have any responsibility then?
You've no responsibility, but they are allowed to find you. So for instance, there's this moral...
They are allowed to find me?
Yeah. Like they'll be like...
Are they going to be like Liam Neeson?
They will Liam Neeson you.
Liam goes, I have a particular set of skills. I have the same balls as you.
Yeah. They will want... How strange it'd be if some 18-year-old fella, when you're like pushing 60 at this stage, rings you and goes, I have the same balls as you.
Like, do you know what? That is so true. I've got two dimples and the same balls.
Yeah.
We don't know each other. But can I do it in Northern Ireland?
I don't know. I'm sure...
Do you know what? I'm actually going to Google.
Yeah.
How much is it? Because you know the cost of living at the moment. Like,
yeah.
Like gas and... Do you know how much petrol is? And I'm
like
just thinking...
£2 a litre?
I could knock out a couple of kids in Portadown.
Like, boom. They're already doing that in Portadown.
Exactly, yeah. I could knock out a couple of kids. I could help somebody out who wants to have a kid.
Yeah.
And you go, look, this is what you're getting.
Tell you what.
Can I set my own price for my sperm?
I think the company buys it off you and then you have to... But if you go on to the web, because I was on looking once before, they're all tend to be in America though, and it's like they'll sell where you couldn't, like, it's a sperm bank, but it's their baby photographs of the men who have donated, which I think is so weird that you're like, I'm now looking at this little baby and trying to buy its jizz. Like, it's a bit...
They don't actually show you their adult face.
No, because they sort of go like, here's what you could have. You don't want to see them as an adult, you want to see what the baby looks like.
Yeah, but they probably don't want to...
It's probably like an anonymity thing.
But you know what? If you're like, excuse the phrase, hard up, but if you're hard up for money, like you can actually go away and make... I'd say there's fellas out there doing it twice a month and they're getting, what, 200-300 quid a month? There's
a guy doing the back of his van on Channel 4. There's a documentary where, I don't know what you call it, and he drives round and he books himself. He like jizzes in the back of his transit and he knocks on the door and gives it to the girl and they turkey baste it. Now, that is a cheaper way of doing it. That's cutting out the middleman.
It's called Life on the Road with Sean Hegarty.
Yeah.
That is. Yeah, and he just takes the cash then.
He takes the
cash. Is he good looking?
No.
Oh.
Doesn't need to be.
See the health check you get? Do you get a health?
I'm sure that you would have to have a clean bill of health.
But do you have to get that done yourself or do they do that for you?
It's been a while since I've donated my sperm, so I'm not too sure.
Because I'm going like, people pay like a couple £100 to go to like a private clinic to get like an MOT.
Yes. So then
you could justify doing that just to get a fucking free health check?
Well, I think they might do a health check for you if your sperm might be in demand. I think if you walked in,
I think my sperm is in
bald
demand.
with a lump and like just like a dodgy eye, they'd be all, you go pay for your own health check. But I think if you walked in, this big basketball looking, tall, dark and handsome, athletic looking, charismatic, but a crack guy, they'd be like,
I fit only two of those things there.
We'll pay for yours. Which two are you fitting?
Just the charismatic, athletic.
Golf's not a sport.
Well, at least do you know what? I'm actually going to look into that because I just feel I want to give back.
Do you think you genuinely would donate your sperm?
I would, yeah. I would donate my sperm. If there's any woman out there watching this and you're having trouble conceiving, give me a call. If you want, I'm not ginger either, which is fine. I've nothing wrong with being ginger, but I have dark hair, and I would say I am 100%.
You definitely don't have dark hair. Your hair's like blonde.
It's kind of blondie. I was pitch blonde when I was born.
Pitch blonde is not a thing. Pitch black. Bright blonde.
Pitch blonde. What the fuck is pitch blonde? Yeah, sorry, bright blonde. But I would go in like, I'd go in with a tight top. I'd be like, I want to create more of me.
Yeah. Well, that's why they say men are hornier than women. Right? We all know that's true, don't we? Men are hornier than women all the time because men subconsciously want to spread their seed and they want to give birth. They don't want to give birth because they're fucking lazy bastards. But
and also biology.
Well, if it was up to men, it would be the end of human. If men were biologically capable of giving birth, I firmly believe it would be the end of the human race. They would just be like, whoo, nothing.
No, golfing this weekend. Can't be giving kids.
Yeah, too busy. But that's partly why men are hornier, because they want to spread their seed and they want more of them. It's a bravado. It's like they want to take up more space.
And women want it. Women want the seed to have the babies. You need us. You need us, Diona.
Well, Jamie Lee O'Donnell was telling me recently that she saw something. She needs to hook me up with a link so I can watch it. That new research is showing that actually women impregnate themselves. Yes, the sperm is necessary, but that what we do is there's like a part of our womb or something that like fishes through all this shit. So it's not that one of your sperms class and makes its way and like
he's in the Champions League of sperm.
Yeah, it's actually us filtering through all the shit and going, we'll take you, and then so actually we could, because one jizz, as I'm saying, there's a shit ton of kids. We could freeze a whole pile of jizz and kill all the men and survive for a long time.
Oh,
continue the human race. Don't need you. Turkey baster. All you need is a syringe and a few freezers, and we are good to go.
To be honest with you, I just think women just end up bitching about it, and you won't get anything done. You just be arguing. I would enjoy it.
Okay.
Are you going to do it again, though? Would you do it again?
IVF.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd have to do IVF if we wanted to have another child, but
Sean cannot get the thing reversed, can't he?
He did. It didn't work. I'm telling a lot of stuff here. But yeah.
Did you sit in the kitchen, get it fucking reversed?
Yeah, we done it ourselves, and then the doctors were like, no, we're supposed to do it. I was like, oh, I just soldered it back together.
Do you know what? We were having dinner one night and I went, just slide there and get a knife and fork. And then I went,
drank that bottle of wine and I'll sort it out.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? You never know. Look, your daughter's one now, isn't she? Just over
she's 15 months.
15 months. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so it's a big thing.
One thing I wanted to say to you is so this is something that happened recently in Belfast, right? And I wanted to get another woman's opinion on this issue, right? So I don't want to give too much information away on this because because Belfast is a small place. And I know not everybody in Belfast listens to this podcast, but... Out eating. I'm out eating with my girlfriend. There's a couple next to us. There's other people in the restaurant. Families.
A heterosexual couple next to us.
Heterosexual couples. There's also another couple. And the woman in that couple is dressed, I would say, quite quirky, quite young, quite fun, quite out there, quite extravagant, quite cool, actually, right?
Yeah.
So, obviously, you're in a restaurant, you look and you go, oh, whatever, like, doesn't bother me, eat my food. We're in this place where we're eating. And I wouldn't say a restaurant, but we're in this place where we're eating. The couple next to me on the right-hand side, constantly looking at this girl dressed in a quirky way. Then starts sneakily taking photographs of her. So I'm sitting there and I notice it. And I'm thinking to myself...
Sorry, a couple
in the restaurant...
are taking photographs of
another couple.
Oh, okay.
But they're taking photographs of the girl.
Yeah.
So I'm watching them taking photographs of them.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just think to myself, that kind of annoyed me, really annoyed
rude.
me, right? Really annoyed me. So I let it slide. People take photographs all the time. You know what I mean? I can't sit there and complain about somebody taking photographs when I'm scrolling through Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah, looking at photographs
that people have taken in restaurants, or watching Karen videos, or, watch this argument and stuff like that. So,
yeah.
But I thought, leave it go, So we're eating our food, but then that couple continually keep kind of like talking and referencing that girl that was dressed.
And do they know this is happening?
No, this other girl doesn't know that this has been happening to her.
Yeah.
She's quite far away. So anyway, this rude couple finished their food and don't leave. And I can see, I figured it out, that they were deliberately waiting for the quirky girl to finish. They were laughing, they were kind of not mock, I won't say, I'm trying to get the words right here, and say mocking, but let me just put it this way. It was bullying from a distance.
Oh my God.
So the quirky girl and her partner leave, and then the weird couple on my right, they deliberately leave at the same time. And I said, they're leaving to film her. And that's exactly what they did. So imagine you're walking on the street, and then this other couple, who are my age, take out their phones, start filming this girl who doesn't know she's being filmed. So now, my blood is boiling.
Sure.
Because number one, I don't mind people taking a photo if you're out in public.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But there's premeditated bullying.
You could blatantly see just two people being absolutely horrible, and that's
absolutely horrible. Now, I don't mind somebody looking at somebody who's dressed differently and go, oh, look at that person's quite cool. You know, if you like what they're wearing, go over and say, can I just say I love your outfit?
Yeah.
You know, kind of thing. But you don't sneaky take photographs of them. You don't then deliberately wait until they finish their food to follow them.
It's like harassment.
It's harassment, right? So I got to the point of the end of my food and I was really riled. I was really fucking riled. And I haven't lost my temper, I would say, for about 4 years. 3 years. 3.5 years.
Specific.
3 years, right? I know exactly the last time I looked. It doesn't happen that often. So I stand up and I'd said, I'm going to confront them. I'm not happy with this. Now, just before I did that, I did look at the guy and I went, yeah, I could take him.
Right.
Like, there's always that way where you go, could I take him if it kicked off? Could I take him if it kicked off? But my plan was that I had two ideas. I was going to go up to him and go, excuse me, why are you filming that girl?
Yeah.
This is the reason why some women don't walk alone.
Yeah.
This is the reason why, you know, all this kind of stuff. So my girlfriend said, Andrew, your intentions are 100% right, but your execution of this is wrong.
Right.
So we had a bit of a discussion. She goes like, you don't know what you're going to cause by confronting this guy.
Yeah.
This guy could attack you. He could stab you. We're in a public place. He's entitled to film. What he's doing is horrible. He's a bully. It's manipulated.
And at this stage, does the quirky girl
has no idea she's had photographs taken of her, or she's been filmed.
Okay.
I just thought it was really sneaky.
Yeah, of course.
It just riled me.
Imagine
because there was somebody out there being an individual, doing what they want to do.
Yeah.
And then there was somebody taking a picture of them, which I can kind of understand, but it was, to me, it was the premeditated following.
Yeah.
That was the over the line.
Now imagine he was a hired videographer and it was like her birthday and they were out and he was like, candidly film us from a side of the restaurant, make this a fun video for us to share online, and you fucked it by causing a full row.
And there was a proposal happening 2 minutes down there, and I'm just there kicking
You're like,
this
who do
shit.
you think you are? And they're like, whoa, will you mind me?
Oh, exactly, Diona.
The boyfriend could have organised that. And the
surprise
girlfriend
engagement.
Doesn't know.
Yeah.
Now, did you confront them at all?
So what happened was I actually walked out of the restaurant.
No, had they left already?
They'd all left. They walked out of this place. It wasn't a restaurant, but walked out of this place. I got to the door and I was just infuriated because I really felt that this girl was being bullied.
Targeted.
Yeah. And I've never done anything like this in my life before. Because if you know me on a personal level, you know I am full of shit when it comes to, and if he's, do you ever hear those people go like,
hold me back, hold me back.
Somebody please hold me back, please, because
I
don't want to get hit.
I don't want to touch anyone.
Do you ever see these arguments with people having to go like, when he comes in here, I swear to God, I'm going to tell him to his face what I think.
Yeah.
And then he comes in, and then he leaves. He goes, why didn't you say anything? Do you know what? He's not worth it.
Yeah.
Like that.
But the next time I see him, I'm going to tell him, you're not. But I thought to myself, you know what? It just riled me, and I thought, I'm going to stand up. I'm going to just say to the guy, mate, stop filming the girl. Yeah.
But I didn't have to. I was just going to go, excuse me, man. I didn't know what to say because I panicked because I'd never done this before. Like, what do I do? So there was an idea then I had was, why don't I just walk up beside him and just film him in front of him so he knows I'm filming. You're filming her, so I'm just going to film you. Is that okay?
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
But my girlfriend really calmed me down.
Right.
And she went, you need to understand what's happening here. What's happening here is bullying, it's intimidation, but we're in a public area.
Yeah.
You can't fight every battle. You can be pissed off and you can be upset. You could go over to the girl and say, hey, by the way, just didn't say I think you look fantastic. I love your quirky stuff. But what are you going to gain from attacking this guy? Then I kind of did calm down and we discussed it for a while. What should I have done? Should I have said something? Should I not have said something? In the end, I was angry about it, but how would you deal with something? Like, what do you think about what happened there?
So I think there's two ways of looking at this, because one, you could bring it to their attention by saying like, oh, your man's filming you and you better stop filming her, but then that could hurt her feelings then, because at this stage her feelings weren't hurt yet. She didn't know. She still doesn't know. She's none the wiser. Well, she could be in a dustbin somewhere by now. We don't know. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. She could be aware by now.
But these were a married couple, by the way. They were filming her because they both had wedding rings on. So that's what I look at. I go, right, she's none the wiser. And the most important, so what you were concerned about there is her
and her feelings and her being hurt and harassed and annoyed. So at this stage, she's none the wiser. So she has, and if you stepping in could actually cause her to be hurt.
And that's why my girlfriend said, your intentions are so right, but the execution is wrong.
However, I 100% would not have been able to have held myself back. I'd have marched straight over.
I was just like, but I was going, excuse me, can you stop taking photographs of that girl, please, and leave her in peace?
Yeah.
And walk away.
I would have.
That's what you'd say.
I would have.
But then he would say it was none of your business.
It probably would have been wrong, but my biggest concern would be embarrassing the two fuckers that were filming her. I'd have wanted to have walked over and made them look like two dicks. And two pervy weirdo fucking dicks.
But they were laughing at her.
Aye.
And they were kind of, I would say mocking her, but to me it was a bit like, they were like, oh, this person's dressed in a quirky way. We're going to deliberately follow her to film her so we can show videos of this to our friends.
Which is so bizarre because of an outfit.
Yes.
Like, that's
but
wild.
Also, you know, when I'm scrolling through Instagram or TikTok, I watch videos of stuff like that.
Yeah.
But when you actually see it, so to me, it was like, I've just got so confused about how to work in this sort of a situation.
You should have got your girlfriend to film you confronting them, and then that would have been cracker content.
Hits.
What you were doing there was thinking about being a nice guy when you just should have been thinking about the hits like everyone else.
Yeah, Andrew, this could blow up and you could become a famous comedian. You know the way you need a bad video sometimes to blow up for you to actually get the success you want.
Like, look at Kim Kardashian. She has got all this success and money from like a real shit sex tape. That's what you need. Not necessarily a sex tape, but battering somebody in a restaurant would have been good enough. That could have been your sex tape.
Cheryl Cole beating up a girl working in the toilets. Yeah. If it wasn't for that, Girls Aloud wouldn't have been so successful.
And even luckier for her is it also had a racist element to it.
Oh, 2 for 1.
You want to be
2 for 1.
Shouting at somebody dressed quirky, punching somebody who's a different race from you, just pulling the wheelchair out from somebody who's disabled. All that stuff's going to go really big online. Yeah. Don't do any of that.
I know. But can I ask you a question? If you were the quirky girl and you were none the wiser, how would you feel about someone like me?
Plot twist. I am the quirky girl.
yeah. But like, how would you feel if you were dressed in a quirky way and you didn't know you were being filmed or followed, and then some guy said to somebody, can you stop following this girl? How would you feel?
I think I would be happy that somebody called out somebody else on my behalf, even though I wasn't aware of it. I think I would be like, oh, yeah, actually, hopefully this is the end to you being a fucking weirdo when filming it. Because that would be the first person they've done that to, nor will it be the last. And you'd hope that stepping on might make them not do it again because they'll be scundered, you know what I mean? But sometimes you can't argue with stupidity, and that sounds like two stupid cunts. Because I remember being on a train going home late one night, and it was like the last train of the evening, which is obviously full of fucking zombies.
Oh, yeah. And
it's like everyone's blocked, and there was this group of fellas, and they were giving me a hard time. There was like 15 of them, and they were just like, do you like shouting stuff? And I was the only woman sat in the carriage. It was just me and them and like a couple other people about, and they were like shouting stuff at me, and I started to feel really intimidated. But I wouldn't be the sort of person who would say nothing or look another way. I would be ballsy enough to go, we're in a train, they can't do anything to me, there's an inspector, he'll be nearby any second.
There's cameras.
Yeah. But you can't argue with stupidity. And if you're saying, like, if you try and like conjugate a sentence that's intellectual and proves them wrong by like going like you're embarrassing yourself, or you say something that's quite sensible towards them, and their response to you is all fuck up, or all bucky, and you're like, immediately they win because it's so stupid that I can't argue with stupidity.
Yeah.
That I'll just have to go, all right, fair enough, I'll stop talking or you'll buck me. We'll just do you know what I mean? And you just have to leave it like that. So you can't win. You just can't win. What I think
whatever I did in that situation, like me not doing nothing, I'm frustrated because I didn't stand up. But then the girl might not want to be stood. She might want to be filmed and photographed because she's so
you don't know
quirky.
if this was some kinky fetish either. You have no idea.
But I read the situation as a girl was being mocked and followed, and I wanted to do something about it.
Yeah.
And maybe my intentions were right, but the way I was going to execute it was wrong.
Also, I think.
Can I just say, when she was being followed, it only happened for about 10 seconds. They went off and got into their car, and she went and got into her car. So it wasn't like they were following her for half a mile. It was literally just for a few seconds to get like clips and stuff.
How bonkers was her outfit? Like, you literally need to be May
Let me just put it this way,
an
extreme goth.
I mean, even that, like, you walk past City Hall, there's a whole crew of them. What's the
I
big
would say
deal?
I would say it's an extreme got.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. But there's not. I've seen worse. Not worse.
And have you somewhere to be?
Huh?
Have you somewhere to be?
No, we don't have somewhere to be. It's just that we've another guest arriving.
Oh, fuck, I'm getting kicked out, am I?
You're not getting kicked out.
Oh, here.
We do 2
Sorry,
on a Tuesday.
Producer just walked over with a handwritten, scribed sign of the fucking time.
All you have to do, Sean, there was go.
And
10 minutes left.
I feel like I'm being kicked out.
You're not being kicked out because what's happening is I have to go in there and jizz into a cup because I have a couple of babies being due. It's my 10:40 female client is coming in.
What bastard's coming in here next?
Paddy Raff.
Paddy fucking Raff.
Yeah.
Right, well.
No, Paddy.
I brought my guitar and I've been...
We do 2 records on a Tuesday, you see.
Right, okay.
I'm also playing in a big golf competition at 2 o'clock today. And
Are
I'm
you?
tight for time today. I have to drive to the North Coast.
Oh, lovely.
I'm playing Castle Rock today. And
Fair
I'm in
pity.
the second round of the Clutch Tour qualifying event for the ISPS hand, and I'm currently...
That was a lot of words there. I have no idea what that was.
So in conclusion...
Yes.
What do you think of that situation?
I think what happened there...
Do you think I should have done more, I should have done less?
I think nobody cares about what you done. I think the girl...
Yeah.
hired,
But I'm trying to make this about me so I can understand what do I do in the future.
The couple had been together for quite a long time, quirky couple and her quirky fella. And I think they thought a bit of sexy role play would work. And they hired a videographer to like pap them. They were like, let's pretend we're like big famous. Let's pretend we're Dita Von Teese and Marilyn Manson. And we'll go out and sit in a restaurant. Somebody's going to film us and we'll act like we're being papped and stop it. And then it'll be like really sexy funny. We can go home and pretend to be Marlon and Dita.
Yeah, amazing.
So when they got into their car, as Marlon Manson and Dita Von Teese.
Exactly.
And the other two they went home 300 quid up because they got paid for the whole process. And you almost fucked their night. As the first shag Marlon Manson was getting in about 3 years and you almost fucked it for him.
Is he out in prison?
I meant the pretend one, that couple.
Yeah, I know, but is Marilyn Manson in prison?
I don't know, is he still alive? I thought he was...
He's up for rape or something, is he?
Has he?
Yeah, he's up for something
Everyone's
like that.
up for rape.
Me
Fuck
too
me.
and all that kind of stuff.
Please put your dicks away. Not used to. You haven't got them out right now.
Can you imagine? Can you just cut this bit and just please put your dicks away and just cut that clip and put it up on. This is an over 18s episode. I don't normally do over 18 stuff.
Imagine the table. Like they just cut to the table and Andrew's just sat here with his wang out.
They're sitting there just going, I just want to make more babies for the world.
There's your wee cup.
I just want to make more babies for the world. I just want to make everyone happy. But I find I just with that whole scenario, I just got a bit upset with it.
Yes, and rightly so. And what that proves is that you're a nice guy. Nosy cunt, but a nice guy.
I am a nosy cunt. I'm a nosy cunt that does fucking nothing about anything.
Yeah. Oh, well, do you know what? I love getting involved in other people's shit.
Have you ever had public confrontation with people in like shops and restaurants and bars and stuff, or public transport where you've actually gone, shut the fuck up, leave that man alone?
Those guys on that night in the train, I tweeted TransLink afterwards, very outraged about it. And then the fucking BBC Radio rang me and they were all, do you want to go on and talk about it? And I was all, I'm over it.
Yeah.
I've moved on. Going up in Derry, like I hung around with guys who used to get into fist fights every single weekend when they went out. And do you know what it is? In Derry, all the bars, right, are in like a small... They're not in Belfast. They're quite spread out.
Yeah.
I know where the Cathedral Quarter is quite a few in the same vicinity, but in Derry they're all like, so everyone comes out like say 2 o'clock when the bar's shut, and there's just like hundreds of people. You cannot get a taxi. You cannot fucking get home. Like it's a nightmare. And there's like fights would break out. So I was hanging around with clearly a whole pile of fucking hoodlums who would just get into fist fights, and I would just be there all swinging off people's necks, like just like I'm getting involved. My friends are having fights, so I was involved. I wasn't fighting people, but I was just like, stop it, and like holding people back and all this silly stuff.
I just want a baby.
Yeah, I'm like, stop! You're gonna break your sperms. They're worth loads of money. Stop it. But as an adult, I think I wouldn't say I'm confrontational. But I'll definitely, I'm definitely...
Do you wear the trousers at home? Like, with that phrase of trousers, which is a masculine phrase, which isn't quite nice, but do you know that kind of say the dominant one in the relationship?
I think everyone would probably say I am, but Sean, wouldn't... I don't, talk down to Sean or anything. But what I will say is there's some very typical things in our house. Like, for instance, I have no clue about technology. I don't know what our remotes do. You know what I mean? I'll be trying to find the vibrator remote and I'll end up turning the fucking Alexa on. And Alexa doesn't even use a remote, see? I don't know. Sean is the guy to go to. I'll be like, can you change the like, I genuinely don't know.
Can you tune this in? Can you rejig that? Can you link that
I would
up
ask
to
him
this?
to tune it in if it was the 1980s, absolutely.
Yeah.
But right now, everything's digital. But I don't know which remotes.
You know
I
that?
know that. Yeah, I'm in the digital era at least. I don't know what remotes do what. I don't know all about our... Sean's the guy who sorts out the sky, who sorts out the internet. Like, we got new phones yesterday, and I'm still using my old phone because I'm like...
You're scared to move
until
in.
Sean sorts my new phone out, I'm like...
Oh, I know what you mean. That transfer over. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, will I save everything? Will I lose stuff?
I'm not the person for that. So Sean's good for that. Sean takes the bins out. Like, he'll do that. I mean, I do other things, but like, do
you share the cooking?
Yes, but Sean just puts food in the oven, and sometimes I'd like a casserole. Do you know what I mean? Or a spag bol.
Just chuck the lasagna in there.
Yeah,
lasagna.
You'd be lucky if he chucks a lasagna in the oven. It's more like chips and a burger or something. But every now and then, like I remember last year, it was before the pandemic actually. I came home and Sean made very good use of his 3 children. Existing 3 children at the time. Obviously, we've got 4 now. And I came home, and one of them stood at the front door with like a
towel
around his
tea towel
arm. Went down, there was like jazz music playing. The other one took my coat, sold it on Marketplace, took my coat, and the other one was like, brought me to my table and handed me a glass of wine, and they made our house into a wee restaurant. I think I was filming, so it was away a lot, and it was like the end of the week, and like Sean had them like get on like waiters, and like they stood there, poured our wine, and like brought us extra portions of stuff, and then they fucked off and played their games. But like he would do, so he'd cooked a really proper non-oven
Oh, what a
dinner.
lovely thing to do.
Oh, he's great. Sean is very romantic. Sean would do lovely stuff like that.
Is he?
Yeah.
That's
he's
really nice.
He's extremely thoughtful.
As you love about him, like.
Yeah, he's very thoughtful. Like, he'll do gifts that are really thoughtful. Do you know what I mean? And I'm also...
He'll have really thought about it and made the effort in and researched it.
Which made me quite concerned about my last birthday, because Sean's gifts are always thought through very well. They're not just like, oh, I'll just buy you a perfume. It's always like thought through. And my last birthday, he got me like a Garmin like watch for like the gym and like gym clothes. And I was all...
I know, I saw that on Instagram and you're like, yeah, you want me to go to the gym? I'm off to fucking McDonald's.
Yeah. I was like, you cheeky bastard.
He's trying to send you a subliminal message. Like,
gym clothes and a fucking... What do you call it? Sports watch?
Oh, yeah, like the steps and all that.
Yeah,
the heart rate monitor.
All
and
that shit. And I was like, fine then.
Yeah. And have you been to the gym or anything? Do you go to...
I do go... I used to be like a real gym bunny, and I used to go all the time. It's very hard when you're juggling work and a child and exhaustion, but I still go a couple of times a week. Like, but ideally I'd love to go every day, but it's just not in my... When you're up at 6 and it doesn't work. Do you know what I mean?
Talk to me about Bridesmaids. When's that starting?
So Bridesmaids in Northern Ireland, it's currently on sale. It's half sold out, so we've sold a few thousand tickets. Yeah, so
phenomenal.
There's 8 shows in the Opera House, and then there's like, it's on all the other theatres as well, Cookstown, Uri, Derry, all the places. So you can buy tickets to that now. Home Alone, our Christmas show that Sean and I are producing in the Opera House, is also on sale now. I'm just doing plugs now.
We put links up anyway on the YouTube, but go and see Diona's plays, shows. Your podcast is called
Remember When with Diona Doherty.
Remember When with Diona Doherty. We put links on stuff like that.
Yeah.
Diona, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
As per usual, and it's so great to have learned about sperm donation.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make a bit of money.
Yeah.
Because this podcast is making fucking nothing.
You'll see.
It's making fucking nothing.
You'll see a real makeover in this background in about 6 weeks, and when that happens, you'll know he sold his jizz.
You're going to see pictures of kids in about 9 months, and you'll be like, that's young Johnny, that's young Paulie, that's young Stevie.
Like,
I don't know the mother, but they look like me anyway.
Like, do you know when you like a sponsor a child in Africa and they send you letters every now and then, or sponsor like a rhino somewhere, and they send you like a wee update? Well, you just have hundreds of updates from kids all over the... Go on, tell me to go fuck now so you can bring Paddy Raff on.
Diona Doherty, thanks so much for coming on Cork the Knot again.